So we are a family business in that, my father Irv started the business, and then we use that family approach in a lot of things we do. Most of our employees have been here for 10 plus years. I know a lot of the guys' wives and kids' names. We provide benefits. We provide a good 401k plan. We allow for continued education. So we try to take care of them in all different ways, I guess. We're high performance in the sense that I give people a lot of responsibility. I want them to take things upon themselves. But by the same token, we like to have fun. We still like to laugh. We still like to be casual. We're not wearing suits and ties to work. We see each other as friends as well as coworkers. Most of the people that we work with have worked with our employees for a long time, so they have a good rapport with them. For instance, one of our foremen's Josh. He's worked on KPS school jobs for many years, and so they like working with Josh. They know him. They have a good rapport with him. They know that he's going to hit on time and on budget. A lot of our service clients like working with Desiree because they know when they pick up the phone and they call her and they get her on the phone that she's going to solve their problem. She's going to get a technician there and she's going to communicate effectively with them to get the problem solved. With us, the way I look at trust is built over time. It's not something that's gained overnight with myself or an employee. So the longer someone works with us, the more trust that I have for them, the more responsibility I can give them, and honesty is more than just the surface level of being accurate with your time card or telling the truth with something. It is being able to have a difficult conversation with someone that needs to be had. One of the things that I know is that I just want to be fair with people, and our people are human just like anybody else. They screw things up, and I'm never going to be one of the kind of people that says, we never screw anything up. I just want to be honest and I guess fair. I'm a flexible person, and I understand that a lot of times we're going to meet you in the middle on something. So we're always doing that with customers to say, hey, we missed the mark here, so why don't we do something else extra for you to compensate for that. We don't do this just for fun. We're doing it to earn a living and to provide for our families and the families of all our employees. So we're a Midwestern company, but we've got a little bit of a New York flair just because that's where my dad came from. So that gives us a sense of urgency in everything we do. But 35 miles from the lakeshore, and if you want to go to the big city, you're a couple hours from Detroit, you're a couple hours from Chicago, you're 45 minutes from Grand Rapids. So if it's something that you want to see more nightlife, or you want to do more downtown shopping, things of that nature, you can do that. But I like the feel. I feel like it's just right. It's not too big. We do have a downtown area with a lot of different amenities to it, but we're also small where you can have a house with 10 acres within 15 minutes of the office. So that's one of the things that I like. We're going to ask questions about how many people are going to be in your building, how often are you going to use it, what are the temperatures you want to meet. Then we're going to look at the code requirements, and then we're going to look at energy efficiency. We're going to look at installation ease, first cost versus life cycle cost. We're going to look at a lot of these different things, and we're going to put some solutions together to give you a system that's going to work well for you. And again, the big thing is we want that repeat business. We want to get customers back working with us so that they trust us and they know that we're looking out for their best interest. Most of the projects that we're working on are not a project that's going to be done in one day. A lot of those projects are going to be weeks, months, sometimes even years long. So, it's not something where we want to cut a corner in, doing the design, or cut a corner in, hearing out what the customer's needs are. Because that's what we're always going to drill back to that when we have conversations with customers after the fact. That's where it's a good sweet spot for us internally, where we can have fun at work, we can enjoy what we do, we can enjoy the people that we're around, but we can also be high performance and get things done and feel good about the work that we've done throughout the day. People like about us is, we can be competitive in our pricing just because of the lean structure that we have here. So, with 32, 33 employees, we don't have massive overhead like a lot of companies do. So we feel like we can be competitive with our pricing. We're also, with our structure, a customer can call and talk to me as one of the owners, and I can give them a solution, on the spot. Whereas a lot of places, that you may have to go up the chain to get reliable answers. That's not the case here. People who want answers, they're going to call, they're going to talk to me, and we're going to get a solution. And that provides just quick reactions to problems that occur. So my dad started Kalamazoo Mechanical in 1985. Again, it was just him and another service technician. They grew over the years. Again, it started with service, and then they moved into installation more as the years progressed. Now Irv is in a role of primarily mentoring. He mentored me a lot over the years, and now he's mentoring a lot of our new technicians. He's giving us any kind of mentoring or consulting services we need, but he's just instilled that sense of urgency, accountability, and credibility. I mean, those are huge for him. He's not going to ever do anything halfway. If his name's on it, it's going to be done right. So I owe a lot to him just because of all the different times that he's poured into me. He's definitely a detail-oriented guy, and he had me working for him here at Kalamazoo Mechanical when I was 14, when the guys would pick me up on the way to the job site. They would drop me off at the end of the day, and then I remember when I turned 16, I was on the job site, and one of the guys took me to the Secretary of State to get my ID. So I've been doing it for it would be 17 years now. So I got a lot of good experience that a lot of people didn't have, just because I had a dad that was just pouring into me 24/7 when I was living with him. So although I'm only 31 years old, it's something that I had a lot of good experience that other people might not have been as fortunate to have. I take a lot of pride in the company just because it's mine. It's something that I know that I can make a difference in, and I can make a difference in a lot of my employees' lives. Because like we were talking about with the Dale Carnegie or the Tony Robbins or the different types of motivational trainings that we give to people, that's stuff that maybe they've never heard before, and I just feel like those are good tools for their lives to have. So I really feel empowered to make a difference in those people's lives, because I just don't think it's something that people hear in our society that much, and especially about just being positive, being calm in the things that you do. I think those things are huge, and there's things I want to keep pouring into people. Well, some of the hot buttons in the industry right now are obviously energy efficiency. Customers want to have equipment that's energy efficient. They want to work with a company that is going to be here for the long run, and that's us. They want to know that we care about things such as being sustainable in the things that we're doing for the environment. They want to know that we treat our employees fairly. That we employ all different walks of life and races and ethnicities and all those things. So I think that those things are important to customers. Where we're going in the future. We want to keep growing in the industry. We want to, we want to add to all of our departments. That would be service, sheet metal, plumbing and pipe fitting. I enjoy mentoring new folks that come aboard, going out to the job site, walking the job site down with them, and just talking to them about what they're doing, why they did something a certain way, just so that I can learn new methods, new approaches, things like that. So we do a wide range of projects. Our service department handles a lot of just residential service changeouts, furnace, air conditioner, water heater type changeouts. Our construction division does multi-year construction projects up to $3-4 million. We like jobs where we do the complete mechanical. That would be plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, and equipment. Basically, one of the things I talk to people about is just being accountable and credible in the things that they do, because we don't have all this management coming by and checking and rechecking people's work. So that's something that I hope people take a sense of accountability towards in the things that they do, because we're giving them so much responsibility to check their own work and make sure things are done properly. Also talk about efficiency in the things we do. We try to maximize our efficiency, because again, we don't have all this management to come through and throw extra guys at things, and so we try to be as efficient as we can by looking at a job and saying, okay, what's the best means and methods to it? What's the best materials for it? What's the best manpower situation for it? So we just try to be as efficient as we can. We talk about wearing multiple hats. So it means everybody pitching in to doing different tasks that maybe they're not used to doing, but we're going to all pitch in to get a job done. If we need to stay a little late, we're going to do that. If we're going to start a little early, we're going to do that. But again, it just comes down to being lean and, doing everything we need to do to get the jobs done. We know that if our employees don't work safely, they're not going to go home to their families in the same way that they came to work every day. One of the things I talk to a lot of new hires and new applicants about is doing the 10 simple things that require zero talent. So some of those are being punctual, being teachable, being on time, having good positive attitude, good body language. I feel like if people do those 10 simple things, I can train pretty much anybody to do our job. There's a lot of things that come up on the job sites or on service calls that we weren't expecting, and you can look at them one of two ways. So we choose to look at them positive here. It becomes a challenge to try to have a good work-life balance for myself, but also our employees. And so that's something that I am aware of and that I work with our guys on often, because I know that work is not the most important thing to them in the world. They've got families, they've got hobbies, they've got other things that they want to do outside of work. And so I try to accommodate that as much as I can. It's definitely a fine line, because we want to have that hard driving and high performance approach. But by the same token, we want our people to be healthy, both physically and mentally, so that they can come and do the best job that they can do. So it's something that we are constantly working on to try to keep our people at the top of their game. Respect, something that I always give to our employees. They know that I'm going to respect them on the jobs. I'm going to treat them. Respect is a big thing for us. We want to be respectful of all our employees, and we just expect that they give us that same respect back. And we talk in a professional manner. We're all professionals, so that's just something that somebody can rest assured that they would have working for us. Communication is huge on a construction site or in a service environment. And that's one of the reasons why we invest in Dale Carnegie training for a lot of our employees, just because it's something I don't think a lot of people have heard before. And I think that there's so many different things that are hard to see and touch and feel. There's so many different things that go into construction that a lot of people don't know. So being able to articulate those things in a positive way and in an accurate way is very important. Again, it comes back to being able to have those honest and difficult conversations, whether it be with our customer or whether it be with our employees, to say, hey, are we being a good steward of the customer's money? And are we being a good steward of our own money? Do we use the correct materials? Are we using the correct manpower? Occasionally we have to have those discussions with customers when the costs escalate above what we had originally talked about, and we want to be fair with people. We want to say, hey, this is exactly how we bid the project, or no, we've had some changes, and now we would like to discuss the costs and say how do we adjust these things. Many of the projects we work on are a fixed cost, so there's no room for that unless we have a design change, and at that time there's many construction managers that are better to work with in those situations where, hey, we've had some design changes, therefore there's going to be some cost changes, so we want to be able to have that open and honest conversation with someone. Great. In general, most of our guys get along pretty well, and so that they can have fun on the job sites. Whether that just be, listen to the radio or cracking jokes with each other, and they spend a lot of times more time with their coworkers than they do with their families at home. So, again, a lot of our guys have worked together for many years, and we have a lot of sayings that have come down over the years that somebody said to somebody, 10 years ago, and so now they're re-saying it. One of them comes to mind is our guy Santiago that you worked with at Van Buren a few weeks ago. He's a foreman. He's been with us for, I think, 8 or 9 years. And when he was told, when he first started working for us, the foreman that he was working under always used to repeat to him, I told Irv I want no more rookies, and he sends me you. So that's one of those things that Santiago always brings up now with when every time he gets a new guy, it's always a joke. Hey, I thought I told Carson no more rookies. So it's just something we always get a good laugh over. And so a little bit more about the history of us. So Irv started the business in 1985. He was working out of downtown Kalamazoo out of a small building that he was renting. 1988, he built our first shop addition across the street. It was just a 40 by 80 pole barn, and there was an old house in the location that we're in now. In the late 90s, he added an addition to that barn, which is another 40 by 80 barn. And then they operated out of the two barns or shops that were our fabrication shops for 25, 30 years. Our office was always this, basically an old farmhouse here. And then in 2017, we kind of got to thinking that, hey, we've outgrown things. We want a new facility that we can continue to grow with. So we built this building. It's a 10,000 square foot mixed-use building. So we have a shop on 7,500 square feet, and we have office on 2,500 square feet. It's a two-level office. We've got a lot of room to grow. We worked out of a small office trailer while the house was demolished and this building was being built. So that was a challenging time for have 6 office staff in the small office trailer during that time. But we built it in one summer, and we moved in November of 2018, and we've been in here, and we've been just all the different positives and opportunities that have come to us since we built a new building are things we wouldn't have imagined. Just so many comments from just local area businesses as they drive by. They'll say, "Wow, that building looks really, really nice." We didn't even recognize the place. We didn't. Is this still the same business? So, same with new talent coming in. I mean, people like to work in a building that's new and it's modern, that's comfortable. We did radiant heat throughout all the floors in the building. Just 1 for energy efficiency, 2 for practicality, just because we're always opening the overhead doors and it recovers so much faster. But 3 for just the employee comfort. I mean, people love just the feeling of the radiant heat. So that's why another reason why we did it throughout the building. Obviously, we've got energy efficient air conditioning systems as well. They're all modulating, heating and cooling. So, we try to use it as a showpiece for bringing customers in and just talking about some of the different things that we're doing here, and that say, hey, we can do this for you as well. So, other things. We primarily use this shop area as storage space, and we also have room for an addition in the future, which allows us, we have 10,000 square feet of parking lot back behind our building, which allows for future expansion. We also have a truck dock now that we can take larger deliveries with. We wanted to do that for a few different reasons, but one of them was that on a lot of the job types, they're asking for right-on-time deliveries now, and that becomes so challenging when dealing with trucking companies that you're not directly contracted with. So we're taking more deliveries here, allows us to have our shop staff make the deliveries to the job site right on time when things are needed. Some of the other investments we made this year is we put a new server in to handle our IT needs and all the needs of our employees, and we put a lot into IT, as far as laptops, tablets, smartphones, cloud-based services for all our employees. We just feel like that makes people so much more productive nowadays. So, we spend tons of money every year on technology and just trying to make ourselves as cutting edge as we can, just because, again, we pour so much into people. We give them so much responsibility that I don't want them to be hindered by something as small as a slow tablet or an old laptop or a smartphone that doesn't work. So we put a lot into that. It's the other things from a technology standpoint is we bought a new plotter this year, so we print all our own drawings here for the people who still want to see the hard copies of things. What else? So we install most of the major equipment brands. York, Train, Carrier, Dakin, Lochinvar, Airco, B&G, Grundfos, just to name a few. Most of those brands are universally accepted from local engineers, architects, construction managers. They're typically what's spec'd, and we've had to get certified in many of those brands over the years, just because most brands are going to require you to be installing and maintaining them as a certified contractor. As far as the quality and the workmanship that we do, we know that the customers that we work with are demanding. So they're not going to allow us to put something in that's not top-notch quality. We're going to end up having to redo it later. So we try to do it right the first time every time, because it doesn't pay to do things twice. In many of the projects we work on, we are required to use heavy equipment to hoist our equipment into place, rig our equipment into place, roll it, whatever it takes. So that uses cranes, forklifts, articulating boom lifts, four-wheel drive scissor lifts, regular scissor lifts, many different pieces of equipment. So safety is huge with those things. It also presents a scheduling opportunity for us to hit things perfectly where we're coordinating our trucking deliveries with our equipment deliveries and also having our correct offloading equipment on site so that we can take things directly off of a delivery truck and put them into place on the job sites. And that is it's a major challenge for our project management teams, something because they all have different contractual lines, so we might have a contract with Train to provide the rooftop units, who then Train has a contract with a trucking company to deliver it, and then we might have a separate contract with a rigging contractor to unload it. So there's a lot of coordination that goes into that, and it's challenging, but when it works smoothly, it definitely saves a lot of time and money. Customers that want jobs done right, customers that want to deal with a contractor that's easily approachable and then they can pick up the phone and talk to, that's going to give them lots of different options on systems from good, better to best, they would want to talk to us. They want to deal with good field personnel. They're going to be easy to deal with, that are not going to be take the hard line on everything. They're going to be down to earth folks that you're going to be able to have a conversation with, and then they're going to be able to report back to me with questions that they have, and then we're going to be able to work through things together. Obviously, on the forefront of most people's minds is the cost. We feel like we can be competitive in most markets. We may not always be the cheapest, but typically we're not the most expensive. We install quality products in quality means and methods because I know that we want to just do them right the first time. It hurts our reputation if we don't get it right the first time. Because customers lose trust in us. They come to us and they want a quality system done at the price that was quoted, and they want it to function. And something I think that definitely sets us apart or from other contractors, we're going to be there through the warranty period. If we put a piece of equipment in or a system in that doesn't work the way that we said it was going to work, we're going to be there to support you and we're going to fix that. We're not going to just run away. We're not the kind of contractor that just installs the system and you just never hear from us again. That's one of the reasons why we have the service department, is there to be there to support customers. And we want to sell them on the maintenance contract as well. So we want to be there maintaining their equipment so we know that it works correctly over time. Yeah, constantly. That's one of my favorite things to do is, when I'm driving around town, I say, hey, we did this job, we did this job, we did this job. That's fun. And, if you look at, restaurants, courthouses, office buildings, schools, churches, I can drive through Kalamazoo and see all those buildings that we've done over the past 35 years. Hey, you guys. Hey. We're a pretty easygoing company around here. Dogs come in to work with us, not just my dogs, but some of the employees' dogs as well. We like animals, and we want it to be an easy place to work and, just have fun. I think that, I don't know. I like dogs, so as long as people's dogs behave, they can bring them into work. I would just say that, from a recruiting and hiring standpoint, we always want new talent. We always want. I would never say that I'm not hiring. If the right person came along, we always feel like we could find a home for them here. I never want to turn down good talent because I didn't have a place for them here. So I really feel that having the right people is paramount. We've had people hired, apply that we didn't know exactly where they were going to fit, but we brought them on and they had the right attitude, so they found their way into a great position, and I think that's huge. We've had people that were from other trades, whether that be electrical, whether that be from structural, whether that be from carpentry, that came aboard and then we taught them some of the skills they needed for the HVAC, plumbing, pipe fitting trades. And they had the raw materials needed to become, great pipe fitters, plumbers, HVAC techs. I'm trying to think. As far as the work-life balance thing goes, I just would say that in general, I pour my heart and soul into the business Irv pours his heart and soul into business, and a lot of our employees do. But just as a commitment from me is that, I'll always be available to the staff for the things that I need to be available for. I mean, I'm an HVAC nerd, self-proclaimed, and it's something that I enjoy doing. So I'm always thinking about work. Some of my friends and family, they might say, hey, that's we don't want to hear about work right now, but it's a hobby of mine. It's something that I enjoy doing. So it's something I'm going to, constantly be thinking about. How do we improve? How do we become more efficient? What can I do for the guys to make it easier for them and the things that they're doing? What new tools can I buy? What new vehicles can we get? What new trailers can we purchase? So just to make things just easier and more efficient. How can we be more top-notch contractors? So it's definitely always a balance. How much do we spend versus how much do we save? But it's something that I'm constantly thinking about, because this is a business that I'm going to be involved in for the next 30 or 40 years. So I want it to be top of the line, and that's some of the things that it goes back to the responsibility that I give people. I want our staff to take responsibility for the tools that I buy them. If I buy them top-notch tools, I want them to take care of it. If I buy them top-notch vehicles, I want them to take care of those things. I want to take care of it like it's their own, because I don't want to be the kind of person that's going to skimp on one of those things. I mean, that's just not my nature. We've got a lot of staff, again, that have been here for many years, and I want to keep pouring into them, doing the Dale Carnegie trainings, doing trainings through our suppliers, doing trainings through the local KVCC or local colleges, just to try to make people as educated and as formed as I can, just both personally and or professionally for us, but also personally for them. A lot of our people will come to us and say, hey, we want to get licensed in the trade. So, I've supported a few of our guys as they go to take their mechanical licenses, their boiler licenses. So, we want people to feel accomplished in what they do. So we want to support them in that. And like I said, I enjoy helping people meet their goals. I think getting in the trades is great. Like a lot of kids, they're preached now, hey, you got to go to college. And I think that as a 16-year-old kid, I would definitely advise kids they should check out a trade. I mean, even if it's not HVAC, but I think HVAC is a great trade. One of the Irv's things that he's always said to me is, if you learn HVAC, you can get a job anywhere in the world. Because if they don't need heating, they need cooling. If they don't need cooling, they need refrigeration. So there's a need for that anywhere in the world. A lot of the training that you can get in this profession is on-the-job training, so you can save yourself a lot of money on college debt. And then within 5 years, people could be making just as much as anyone who got a 4-year degree, but you're going to be 4 years ahead, and you're not going to have the debt. So I think it's a great opportunity for young people, especially too, and if they come with those 10 simple things, we're going to pour into them, we're going to teach them. So I just ask they come with the right raw materials there, and we'll mold them into who we want them to be.
Talk about those 10 simple things again.
So off the top of my head, being positive, being teachable, being prepared, being punctual, those are just invaluable things, because it just makes people want to pour into you. So if you've got a foreman working with a young kid, and every day he's on time, every day he's asking questions, he's writing notes down, he's coming prepared with his tools, he's coming prepared with water and a lunch, so he's not running to the gas station every 5 minutes to get something. They're going to say, man, that kid makes my life easier. I want him out there. And that's one of the tools that I use to say, how is somebody doing? Do people ask for him to come back? Hey, send Johnny back working with me today, because he did a great job. He made my life easier. And that's one of the metrics that I use. And it's a simple thing, but if you're not being asked to come back, it's a sure sign that, you're not going to be a good fit. That's something else that we do here at KMI, is we do a fit test for a lot of people, so that we bring them on board and we say, hey, we want you to work for us for a week, and we see how you fit in with the crew, how you fit in with our culture, and it gives us a lot better idea of what the skills are. Because I sit across the table from a lot of people and they tell me, yeah, I'm a journeyman, or I'm a foreman level guy, or I'm an apprentice level guy, and it's like, what that might mean to you might be different than to me. So that's something that we really try to push for, if at all possible, when we know that's not possible with everybody, but especially people that are going to travel across the country to come and work for us. Is we always say, hey, can we do a fit test for a week, just to give you guys a try? And because it's an investment for both of us. I mean, I spend a lot of time into interviewing people, vetting them, doing the drug testing, doing the personality testing, doing those things, and we understand that people they're they might be uprooting their family, uprooting themselves, buying, living, housing, all those kinds of things to come and work for us. So it's like, let's make sure that we're making the right investment. So if it's just an extra week, I definitely think it's worth it.
Favorable parts, right?
Yeah, for sure. We just did one last week for a guy who moved out here from New York State. He actually worked for us for 2 weeks. We gave him, obviously we compensated him for that. We gave him food. He was going over to some of the guys' houses for dinner, just trying to get a feel for things. I mean, it's not everybody's going to fit in everywhere, and everybody, has different expectations on things. This is not a big corporation. We don't send you a memo about, a new policy. We're going to talk about it. We're going to have a cookout. We're going to go over things.
You want to talk about society now, COVID at all, the way things
Yeah, sure.
you guys have?
So, we were fortunate enough during the COVID pandemic to be considered an essential contractor. We do HVAC for medical facilities, restaurants, other businesses that were able to remain open. So, we had to be there to provide, service for heating hot water. We had done 2 Bronson hospital projects that they had said, hey, they want to get these going so that, if the pandemic doesn't stop as soon as we thought, it's going to provide other areas for the overflow for the hospital. So we were very fortunate in that. Our business did suffer because, many of the jobs were closed, but luckily we were able to stay viable and continue working, thanks to a lot of our employees that took the brave step to continue working, because we know that during that time it was scary for a lot of people, and it's a fine line. And when we have customers saying, we need you guys, we need you to work, and balancing that with the guys that say, well, I'm scared, I don't want to get it, I don't want my family to get sick. So that was just definitely a challenging time. But one of the things that we did was we just went over the top with a PPE. We were buying gallons upon gallons of sanitizer from local distilleries. We're buying gloves by the case. We're buying glasses and masks by the case as well. We had some of our employees' wives making masks for our guys with replaceable filters in them. So we were doing everything we could just to keep people safe. I was going to the job sites and spraying people's tools down just because I needed them. I needed guys to keep working. I wanted the guys to stay safe. It doesn't do us any good to stay working and then have everybody get sick on the jobs. So, man, it's been definitely a challenging time, but we're really glad that we're making our way through it. A lot of the policies and procedures are going to stay in place, as far as, having the masks, having the gloves, having the different disinfecting sprays. I think those are going to be with us for a long time. So it's just a different way of going about things. But, we're fortunate that we had a lot of projects that were already under contract during that, so that we've come out of this extremely busy, extremely profitable on these jobs. So we just want to continue with those jobs now, and I think we've got a great outlook for the next 6 months. So we want to just keep it going.